Listen to this chord from Bartók's Concerto for Orchestra. Welcome to
Keith Horn's Chord of the Week.
This chord from Bartók's Concerto for Orchestra, written in 1943, sounds to me like a beast has just entered the room. It happens toward the end of the third movement, which is called Elegia, a movement that's described by Bartók as a lugubrious death song, which I think might also be the name of a Slayer album. This movement is in the style called night music. It's a style that Bartók employed in many of the slower movements of a lot of his work. Wait, isn't that Rick Beato? That is a striking resemblance. Can somebody find out if Rick Beato might have a DeLorean? Because I think he's a time traveler. Anyway, here's that chord again. And here's what it is. As the violins hold out this C sharp, the violas play A minor in second inversion. And you can see that in the score that they're playing divisi, like one half the violas is playing this, the other half is playing just the A. So you have C sharp in the violins. The cellos double this A minor exactly an octave lower. And the basses another octave. So the full chord is actually this. You'll notice that the double stop in the bass divisi is E and A, which are the two lowest strings on the instrument, the two open strings in tremolo, which is a really dark, deep, muddy sound. Quite a beast of a chord. So the orchestration is worth talking about. And in general, when you study orchestration, you study how to do clean orchestration. You're not really supposed to do what Bartók is doing here. These close voice triads that are in the lowest register, like this, they will make your music sound dark and muddy, which is quite literally the opposite of clean and bright. But orchestration doesn't always have to be clean. Sometimes the effect you want is dark, dirty, and muddy. I know that every time I hear this chord, I give it the ultimate musician's compliment, the stank face. Here's a clip of the Frankfurt Radio Orchestra playing this section of the piece. And notice the contrabasses. They have 5 strings instead of the traditional 4. In this video, you can really see the divisi in the string section if you look closely. And the thing is, that low B string, that 5th string, they don't even use it. But it's interesting to see that bass. And fun fact that the 5-string bass is much more common in Europe than it is in the U.S., especially in Germany, where it's called the Fünfsteiger Bass, which, if you ask me, sounds way cooler. It's also worth noting the context of the chord. The preceding section is really consonant, triadic, clean sounding, and almost the entirety of the section before is above middle C. It's in the higher register of the orchestra. So because of that lighter context that precedes this chord, when the beast chord lands, it hits harder. And for fun, I put this against a scene from the original Frankenstein from 1931. This film has no score at all, so it's fun to just put random pieces of music against it and see how it plays. Check this out. I love this chord because of its dark and sinister sound, and it's a perfect example of harmony, voicing, and orchestration all coalescing to great effect. In my opinion, Bartok's music isn't performed enough in the United States, and he's not really talked about much outside of conversations with composers and musicians and music school and music teachers. He's so well revered within the music community. It's not that people don't know who he is, but he's not necessarily on the same level of sort of public awareness as a Stravinsky or a Schoenberg might be. And I think he deserves to be. He's one of my personal favorites, and I encourage you to dive deeply into his catalog, which is something I've been doing lately. Pretty much all this year, I've been diving into Bartok pieces, especially the early Bartok pieces that I had never heard before, and I'm discovering all sorts of amazing stuff and loving every minute of it.
Yeah. Who this? This piece. Yo, who this? Yo, who this? Who this?